USC football is back in the win column, but can they keep the momentum going?
And women's soccer wins the Big Ten championship. We break down where they go from here next on Sports Scene.
Sports Scene, I'm Schneider.
I'm Ervin.
And I'm Devyn Dyett. LA sports are hot right now, so let's get right into it.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Cranks the ball, deep left field. Volpe with redemption.
Coming into Game 4 of the World Series, it seemed like everything was going wrong for the New York Yankees, but with their backs against the wall, they stayed alive to see another day. The big blow came in the bottom of the third inning. Anthony Volpe, been struggling all postseason long. Grand slam to put the Dodgers on top 4-2. That's the 9th World Series grand slam in Yankees history. The game seemed close moving into the bottom of the 6th when Austin Wells blasted this no-doubter into the New York night sky. Wells 2 for 3 in this one with 2 extra base hits. Yankees take care of business and win Game 4 11-4.
Look, we just showed up today ready to play, and we're trying to get one. And trying to get the game, trying to get it to tomorrow. You don't even get ahead of yourself and start thinking about the series. It's like our guys were ready to play.
Well, with Game 5 tonight in New York, this could be the last chance for the Yankees. Devyn and Grace, what are you expecting tonight?
Yeah, I think the Yankees are going to take it again tonight, but that will send it back to LA for the Dodgers, and then I think they're going to win the series there.
Yeah, it's definitely been heated, but LA has done a really dominant job of beating the Yankees, but I think you're right. I think the game's going to go tonight. The Yankees are coming off of a dominant win, winning 11-4. Come back to LA, see how things go, but when players like Freddie Freeman have been on fire, beating all kinds of records, getting so many home runs, I think you're right, Devyn. I think the Dodgers will take it home.
Jack Flaherty versus Garrett Cole tonight. To further your point, Devyn, I think that with the bats hot for the Yankees, truly anything is possible for them. We'll see if they can get it done. Something to note, only one team in history has ever come back from down 3-0, and that is the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. At this point, it's really a mental game. They're playing games back to back, and both teams obviously have so much talent. This is the most baseball I've ever watched in my entire life, and it's been so entertaining, and I think that it's going to be a really good matchup tonight.
Yeah, a reverse sweep would be super entertaining, but super hard to come by. But last weekend, USC defeated Rutgers 42-20 at the Coliseum for a Friday Night Lights showdown. USC sophomore wide receiver Makai Lemon put up a career-high 134 receiving yards and tested his skills at punt return. The Trojans put on a strong offensive showing, scoring on all 4 offensive possessions in the first half. Redshirt senior running back Woody Marks ran for 3 touchdowns, and junior quarterback Miller Moss had 2 scoring passes and a touchdown run. On the defensive side, USC came up with some timely stops despite injuries. The Trojans' victory snapped a 3-game losing streak and improved their losing record to 4-4. Senior wide receiver Kyle Ford, who had 4 receptions and a touchdown, spoke about his hopes for the rest of the season.
I think it's never how you start, it's how you finish. So I just want to finish off strong, help the team as much as I can. And, everything that you do out there isn't always on a stat sheet. And, you sometimes don't see that, and that's fine. I came here to contribute. Contribute doesn't mean I have to have 7,000 yards and all this and that. It means I just want to help this team win games.
So guys, after a dominant Rutgers win on Friday, what was the difference in USC's game to snap their losing streak?
I think it's got to be the physicality. I think that was easily the most physical game in Lincoln Riley's entire tenure. Sitting in the press box, you could hear the hits throughout that game. And you also got to turn to the offensive line and Emmanuel Pregnon. Heck of a game for him. 0 QB pressures allowed, 85.5% run block grade, and an 82.2% offensive grade. That's first in the Big Ten for all of those stats.
Yeah, to build off your point on the physicality, I think that this game was a must-win for USC, and they felt that. They felt the pressure, and they came out and they stepped up. Makai Lemons offensively, he has become wide receiver 1. He led the team in targets with 4 receptions for 122 yards and 1 touchdown, like you mentioned, Grace. And, I talked about Zachariah Branch last show, and I think someone was listening because they moved him off of the punt returns and put Makai Lemons into took his spot, and I think he really showed up for the Trojans.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Makai Lemons, especially on his punt return performance. Also, Liam, something that you said that was interesting was about their physicality. Something we've been hearing a lot about USC football is that they're not ready for the Big Ten. Big Ten's physical. They're not really showing that kind of physicality, but I think they responded well, definitely. And while they lost any hope for playoff contentions, there is some hope for a bowl game. So they finish out the season, win their games. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the O-line has made big strides. Elijah Page has played really well, and he's improving each game.
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about today's USC football, but let's send it over to Casey to hear about this week in Trojan history. Casey?
Thanks, Grace. Welcome back to This Week in Trojan History. 5 years ago this week, USC scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to narrowly edge out Colorado, while Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, Kedon Slovis, threw for over 400 yards.
USC, Slovis in the pocket, throws middle, caught by Pittman to the 20, to the 15, he gets to the corner. Touchdown USC!
Multiple current NFL standouts such as Michael Pittman and Amon-Ra St. Brown shined in what was an offensive showcase for the Trojans. Down 10 after the third quarter, Pittman found the end zone twice for big scores, and USC held on to win 35-31. Kedon Slovis led USC to over 500 yards of total offense and threw for 4 touchdowns. All in all, considering USC struggled on the road to start the season in 2019, winning in Folsom Field raised the spirits. Kedon Slovis had an interesting college career, playing 3 seasons at USC before eventually transferring to Pitt and BYU. While 2019 would end in a Holiday Bowl loss, 2020 saw Slovis lead the Trojans to a Pac-12 championship berth. Slovis threw for 58 touchdowns while at Southern California and played with a lot of future NFL talent. Well, that's enough of the Clay Helton era. That'll wrap up This Week in Trojan History. Make sure to tune in every week to hear my USC history lesson. And I'm hearing that the current Trojans are making a treacherous trip north. Let's go back to the present. Devyn, take it away.
That's right, Casey. USC will hit the road this weekend to face off against the Washington Huskies. Washington is just 1 season removed from making the college playoffs last year, but with the coaching change and roster turnover, they've also had a rough introduction to the Big Ten this season. The Huskies are led by head coach Jedd Fisch, who is stressing the importance of bowl eligibility with his new team. They're currently 4-4 with notable wins against Northwestern and Michigan. However, they did lose to Rutgers 18-21, a team that USC dominated against just last weekend. Now let's meet some of the Huskies' key players. Starting off with 6'4" wide receiver Denzel Boston. The sophomore has had a breakout season this year with 44 receptions for 583 yards and 9 touchdowns, which is 8th most in UW history. He is confident against most physical defensive backs and is able to make contested catches down the field. He set a career-high 125 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 receptions at Rutgers. Y'all, Boston is the real offensive threat for the Huskies.
This week, I've got my eye on junior running back Jonah Coleman. Coleman spent the past 2 seasons at Arizona and led the Wildcats in rushing with 892 yards. The transfer became the first UW back since 1960 to rush for 100 or more yards in a Husky debut game, putting up 127 yards and 3 touchdowns on 16 carries in a win over Weber State. Coleman currently leads the Huskies in total rushing yards with 785. Jonah Coleman will be an offensive weapon for Washington against a weak and injury-riddled USC defense.
For my player of the week, I have to mention the captain for the Huskies defense, linebacker Alfonso Tupatala. Tupatala comes in at 6'2", 230 pounds, and is an anchor for the Washington defense in both the pass and run game. On the season, Tupatala has 45 total tackles to go alongside his 2.5 sacks in just 8 games. Keep an eye on number 11 in the purple and gold this Saturday at Alaskan Airlines Field. Well, we mentioned some players to keep an eye out for, but Devyn, I'll start with you. What can we expect from the 4-4 Washington Huskies this week?
Yeah, I mean, USC is playing a little bit more of a familiar opponent this week, but I'm still worried about their ability to play on the road. I mean, their QB, Will Rogers, has a 70% completion rate, and he's not going to have to worry about a pass rush from USC. So because of that, I think it will be a close game, but ultimately the Huskies are going to take it.
Yeah, for the Huskies side of things, I think their biggest question is defense. They haven't done a good job of showing on rushing defense, but they actually do a great job about keeping the other team out of the end zone. The Huskies defense only allows 18.75 points per game. They're currently ranked the number 23 in all of college football, so that'll definitely be tough for USC trying to figure out how to get around that defense. But I do think Woody Marks will be a difficult component for Washington to defend against.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think coming into this season, this is a game you automatically circle on your schedule prior to even knowing that in this spot both teams would have the same record. Playing at United Airlines Field in Washington, it's always a tough atmosphere. It's always a rivalry, two Pac-12 teams back and forth. I will say Jedd Fisch really likes to switch it up. He throws a lot of screen passes, a lot of actions. The line will be moving a lot, so the defensive line has got to hold strong for USC.
I will say if USC wins today, it will continue a bunch of victories that we've been seeing recently, including women's soccer.
USC has rewritten history. They are conference champions in the Big Ten regular season for the first time. Congratulations to the Trojans.
Last Sunday, USC women's soccer capped off an unbeaten Big Ten regular season with a 1-0 win over UCLA to claim the Big Ten title. Senior forward Miley Hayes scored in the 36th minute, and fifth-year goalie Laurence Gladue shut down the UCLA attack, holding the Bruins to a season-low 5 shots. The victory last Sunday allowed the Trojans to claim USC's first Big Ten crown in any sport. After recent ranked wins against Ohio State, Penn State, and UCLA, USC now stands at the number 4 spot going into the Big Ten Conference tournament this weekend. The Trojans are the top seed in this tournament after winning the Big Ten regular season. USC will face the winner of the Ohio State and Wisconsin match on Sunday in Minnesota. The Trojans will face some tough Big Ten foes in this tournament, including a potential rematch against number 2 seeded UCLA.
The Crosstown Showdown is back as Trojans take on a scary Bruins squad on Halloween.
And the wheels on the Must Bus are going round and round with a big preseason win. All that and more coming on Sports Scene next.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latina voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all.
Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dime la Hora.
Radio and Podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo. We have it all.
Dímelo. We have it all.
My big friend, I love the big taste of chocolate in this little Hershey's kiss.
Hershey's Kisses, the little kiss with the big taste.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Pa's Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Pa's makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Pa's Halloween makeup kits.
The hype for USC women's basketball continues as more preseason accolades were awarded to the loaded roster. Talia von Oelhoffen was selected to the Nancy Lieberman Award watch list for the nation's top point guard, alongside Juju Watkins, who was selected again for the Ann Myers Drysdale Shooting Guard of the Year award. Watkins won the national honor last year as just a freshman. Oelhoffen, Watkins, and their fellow women of Troy will open the 2024-2025 season in Paris, France on November 4th, where they take on Ole Miss.
Now here are some quick updates on what happened with USC sports this week. Freshman Jasmine Koo won her 3rd straight individual title by 3 strokes after shooting 7 under par. The number 5 USC claimed the number 1 seed heading into match play as they were 6 under par in the stroke play portion of the East Lake Cup.
A lot of positives for USC athletics this past week. Probably near the top of the list, the new-look USC Trojans basketball team picking up a huge win over the Gonzaga Bulldogs, ranked number 6 in the country in their last preseason game. Final score, 96-93. Eric Messelman was fired up after the win.
Deflection
winner of the game, Magnolia! The super beat rebounder of the game, T-Will! Hold up. The super beat is Buzo!
USC men's water polo sweep the MPSF Weekly Awards yet again. For the second time this season, USC has landed a pair of Trojans on the MPSF Weekly Honor Roll. Senior Carson Kranz scored his first career MPSF Player of the Week, and sophomore Robert Lopez-Duart secured his fourth MPSF Newcomer of the Week award as well. Kranz earned his stripes after tying his career high with a hat trick in USC's 18-10 win over number 10 UC Davis. Lopez-Duart scored in his 13 consecutive game and tallied a hat trick in USC's win over the Aggies. Kranz, Lopez-Duart, and the rest of the Trojans will hit the road for the rest of the season with their first stop at Stanford on Saturday.
This year, USC has entered what is arguably the most competitive volleyball conference, the Big Ten. 7 Big Ten teams claimed a spot in the AVCA Coaches Poll Top 25. Sitting at the top of the rankings is Nebraska and Penn State, who both hold 10-0 conference records. USC sits at number 21 and is 6-4 in conference play. USC's most notable Big Ten win came against UCLA in a tough 5-set match at the Galen Center. The Battle of LA was played in front of a record-setting USC home crowd of 7,303 fans. Ali Batenhorst recorded her 5th double-double of the season, while Mia Tuaninga dished out 40 assists with 6 digs, 4 blocks, and matched her season high of 5 kills. Tomorrow, they will travel cross town to face off against their rivals again at 6:30 p.m., and there's no better time for this scary matchup than on Halloween night.
Well, now it's time for our favorite segment as Thomas and Terrence go blow for blow in Trojan of the Week. Over to you, gentlemen.
Oh, do we have a fun segment planned for you? It's a spooky special of Trojan of the Week. I obviously didn't get the memo that we were wearing costumes today, but I'll give myself a pass since today's not even Halloween. But anyway, let's get this week started with USC men's basketball, Terrence Williams II. The Trojans came back from a halftime deficit to beat number 6 Gonzaga thanks to 16 second-half points from Williams II. The Michigan transfer went 5 for 7 from the field and 4 for 6 from three-point range to help USC upset the Bulldogs in a charity matchup.
Well, when I'm not stealing Christmas from the Who's down in Whoville, I'm doing one thing, and that is watching USC women's soccer, so my Trojan of the Week is Miley Hayes. This past week against UCLA, Hayes scored the game-winning goal in the crosstown showdown to not only beat the Trojans' rival, but win the Big Ten regular season in USC's first year in the conference.
So I want to start this one just because I'm going to admit, great pick. Miley Hayes,
Thank
goal
you.
scorer
Thank you
to win the conference. But I want to talk about Terrence Williams
Let's hear it.
because I think he also played a mighty great game. I think we have both very good picks this week.
Game.
Sure, a charity matchup. We'll make it that.
We'll get into that.
We'll just talk about Terrence Williams' points and how important they were.
Okay.
3:25 left in the first half.
Three-pointer
for the lead. 1:07 left in the first half. His free throw tied the game. Now we go into the second half where he had 16 second-half points, 16:45 three-pointer for the lead. 4 minutes after that, Trojans saw the lead dwindle from 11 points to 4, and then Terrence Williams turned it on. He scored 11 straight points for USC to really seal the game, and then he finally actually sealed the game. 14 seconds left, 2-point lead. He hit 2 free throws, make it a 2-possession game. Completely iced it.
Right.
I know it's a preseason game.
Now tell me, does that affect USC's record and his individual scoring?
Well, it affects...
Going into the season?
Let's talk about the impact of this game.
Let's hear it.
After watching that game, does your opinion on this team change at all?
That's a fair argument, kind of. It kind of does. But all you need to know is it's an exhibition. I mean, let's think about USC's men's basketball season last year. Super hyped up. They started off with a great win over Kansas State, and they kind of just stunk the way out. So I don't think this means anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I think this means a lot. The number 6 preseason team, because Kansas State.
Can we talk about a game that actually matters?
Let's talk about the Kansas State game last year, because they were unranked.
Not talk about the Kansas
they were
State.
Unranked last year. Gonzaga's number 6.
Fair enough.
Number
Can we talk
6.
about the game that actually mattered, though?
Doesn't matter? Doesn't matter, though.
Oh, 100% matters. They won first outright conference win in program history.
Yeah, but they still have to play the Big Ten tournament. It's not like they
Miley
even
Hayes,
clinched.
she was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. Tell me, Did Terrence Williams win a Big Ten Player of the Week?
Well, no,
because it didn't count. Exactly.
Okay, Terrence, come on. It
I'm
does.
sorry.
It
Use
does
Casey
matter.
Caslin or logic there. That doesn't make any sense. So let's be honest. She finished with an undefeated Big Ten play. That's the USC women's soccer. She led the team in goals. She upped it to 8 goals. She was leading them by 3. That game-winning goal in the 37th minute. That was big time. She's the best player on this team, in my opinion. Easily the best striker, one of the best in the Big Ten.
So I will agree with you. I think she is the best player on this team. So we've come to expect this of her. She has 8 goals on the season. I think what makes Terrence Williams the Trojan of the Week, we weren't expecting this from him. In the UTSA exhibition match before, he only scored 5 points.
You can give the Trojan of the Week to a guy who played an exhibition game.
It was a charity matchup. It was for a good cause. It was for the Eisenhower Cardiovascular Institute.
Like, no, that's a great cause. Well, you know what's another great cause? Giving championships to USC, and that's what Miley.
So do you hate charity? It was a charity matchup. Charity.
Well, I am the Grinch Thomas. I don't hate charity. I hate Christmas. So I just think that overall, Miley Hayes was a lot more impactful than Terrence Williams was. Let's just leave it.
Impactful.
No, 100%.
He led this team with his 20
But it didn't
points.
mean anything. It doesn't mean anything in the long run.
No, but we're talking about impact here. He helped USC win the game.
We're talking in a meaningless game, in an exhibition game.
Meaningless?
It was
whatever, Terrence. We got to move on.
We got to wrap it up. Well, Thomas, we have to wrap it up. As I mentioned, my heart has grown 3 times in size, and maybe you had some decent points. So shout out to you.
I appreciate that.
Well, coming up, the crew will tell you about the matchup of the next generation of quarterbacks in the NFL. And LA basketball is back. We'll give a recap of everything Clippers and Lakers.
Here they come, screaming across the sky. It's lots and lots of jets and planes. The greatest collection of aviation DVDs we've ever offered. And for this special TV offer, you can get 2 DVDs for the price of 1. You'll get to see big planes, little planes, soaring stunts and passenger planes, even planes that fly real low. Old planes, new planes, fast planes, slow planes, smoking planes, even planes at supersonic speeds, plus much, much more when you order lots and lots of jets and planes. Each DVD is jam-packed with lots of high-flying, close-up action. This special TV offer is not available in stores. Remember, you can get 2 DVDs, over 2 hours of non-stop aviation action for the price of 1. It's lots and lots of jets and planes.
You can order now and receive a free bonus CD of Jet Plane songs. You must be 18 years old or to call 888-300-3455. Parents, call 888-300-3455. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's 888-300-3455 for lots of jets and planes.
If you want to stay warm and cuddly, then you need to put on a Snuggie. It's the blanket with sleeves that keeps you totally warm while your hands stay free. That's right! Perfect for men, women, and children love them too. And now there's even a Snuggie for your dog. Available in a variety of hot new colors that'll keep you cozy from head to toe and totally warm wherever you go. Snuggie is available at retail stores everywhere. So if you want to be warm and cuddly, it's time to get on your Snuggie. That's right!
Familiar faces in the Western Conference atop the standings for the National Basketball Association. The reigning number 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder has maintained their position in the first 3 games of the season, sitting on top of the Western Conference. Below them, the Phoenix Suns are followed by the newly coached Los Angeles Lakers with J.J. Redick, as well as the Golden State Warriors at 3-1 with the Dallas Mavericks. Let's send it over to Daniel to hear about what's going on in the NBA.
The Los Angeles Lakers and Clippers entered the season with more questions than answers, but both teams have gotten off to surprisingly fast starts. Under new head coach J.J. Redick, the Lakers started the regular season 2-0 for the first time since the 2010-2011 season. 4 games in, Los Angeles is 6th in the league in total points per game, averaging 117 as a team with a 3-1 record. The Lakers' early season dominance has a lot to do with how well forward Anthony Davis is playing. Davis is leading the NBA in scoring, averaging 32.8 points per game, and is also grabbing 12 rebounds per game. On defense, Davis's 2.5 blocks per game rank 4th in the league. And heading over to the Intuit Dome, the LA Clippers have also been a surprise team to start the year. After dropping their first game of the season against the Phoenix Suns, the Clippers have won 2 in a row, picking up wins in Denver against the Nuggets and in the Bay Area against the Golden State Warriors. And with Kawhi Leonard sidelined indefinitely to start the season, 10-time All-Star guard James Harden has stepped up in his absence, averaging 25 points per game. Harden is also leading the league in assists so far with 11.7 and is also averaging 8.3 rebounds per game. And that's all I have for the NBA. Let's send it back to the studio to hear about the dramatic ending on Sunday between the two Heisman winners from last year.
This past weekend, the Bears and Commanders matched up, giving us a look at the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, against the number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels. Daniels threw for 326 yards and 1 touchdown and ran for 52 yards, showing off his deep ball and rushing ability. Williams threw for only 131 yards, but in the fourth quarter, he marched the Bears down multiple times, eventually taking the lead with just under 30 seconds. Then, this happened.
It's hurting more now. Comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle!
What a crazy ending. The Bears are now 4-3. They still have a winning record, but does Caleb Williams have what it takes to put this team on his back and finish out this season strong?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, especially after a loss like that, that one definitely stings a lot for the Bears, but especially Caleb Williams, who is the leader of that team. It's definitely going to be hard to find some motivation in the next coming games, but maybe it'll prove Caleb Williams is a great leader.
Well, I'm not too worried about the Bears, but how about those Commanders? As a Washington, D.C. native, I've never been a fan of the Washington football team. Now the Commanders' new look, I might have to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels outdid himself, especially in that game. He's had a great season.
What a fun ending. But that's all we have here today. Hopefully this is just as fun of an ending, but I'm Grace Schneider.
I'm Liam Ervin.
And I'm Devyn Dyett. See you all next week.